Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. As many of you have seen, there's been news reports and press conferences on the fact that the procedure for the way that they are going to be doing waivers or adjudicating waivers of the 3 to 10 year bar is different. Now, over the time between the reports and now what's happened is I've had a lot of clients that have come in and they've said, oh, what kind of new visa is there? Is there an amnesty? Questions of that nature. And I've had to let them know that there's no amnesty, there's no new waiver, there's no new qualifications, there's no easier or harder qualifications. Basically, the way it is that there is now proposed regulations to change the way the waiver is adjudicated, not the type of the waiver. Now, this is a very big thing because it allows you to stay inside the United States, have the waiver adjudicated here before actually leaving. So let me give you a scenario of how it normally, before this time, what used to be, or until the regulations become final, will be. In 1996, there became a new ground of inadmissibility through what's called IRA, sort of the dark side of the force of immigration, if you will. And what happened is anyone who's been unlawfully present in the United States for a year more or less could not adjust status, minus some small exceptions, and they'd have to leave the country in order to consulate process through the U.S. consulate. Now, the way that worked is the moment they left, they couldn't come back for 10 years. Okay, and if they were out of status for only 6 months and less than a year, they couldn't come back for 3 years. So that's why they call it the 3 to 10 year bar. However, there's a waiver that's available. And the waiver is where you submit, the legal brief, declarations, affidavits, evidence, all kinds of stuff, which basically shows that your U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse or parents will suffer extreme hardship if you're not allowed back. So, not a real easy waiver to get granted, yet if it's, supplemented with all the medical hardships and economic hardships, psychological, educational, all kinds of stuff. And then what I do for my clients, I also get a psychologist to do an analysis of the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident relative, and then, create a nice hardship letter that is added to the package. Well, the way it used to work is the U.S. consulate would not even look at the waiver until you left the country and were sitting across the table. So, a lot of people would end up leaving the country not knowing if it's going to be granted or denied, not knowing how long it's going to take. It might take a year, year and a half, at the shortest, 6 months, give or take. And they'd have to stay outside the country, separated from their family, their spouse, their kids, everybody, while, the officers are going through 10,000 of these waivers one by one, and they're sitting there month after month waiting a ruling. Well, the new proposed regulations, which again is not law yet, but hopefully it will be soon, the new proposed regulation says instead of filing this waiver when you leave the country and are separated from your family for all this time, they're going to let you file it at USCIS, inside the United States. And it'll all be adjudicated before you ever take 1 foot outside the country. So assuming everything goes well, what will happen is you'll get a provisional waiver, that's what they're going to call it, meaning more or less it's approved. And then once you leave, you don't have to submit the waiver. You know it's already going to be approved, and you just have to go through the normal consulate processing. So it is a great thing that the Congress and the regulators have decided that, yes, it is extreme hardship to have to wait outside for all that time away from your family while you're waiting for the waivers. So this is a big crack in the 1996 harsh IRA and it's great news. Hopefully it's just the first to come, but as of now it looks like it'll take a few more months, at least that's what they're saying, to get the final regulations out. So if you're in a position where you need to do a waiver, go ahead and give my office a call, and I'll advise you best on what to do. But as of now, I would be hesitant to go the normal way and leave the country when these regulations are, right around the corner. It doesn't mean everything can't be prepared, because you still have to prepare everything, and it does take a while to get to the point where you would have the interview in wherever consulate around the world you happen to be. So keep the wheels moving forward, but you should probably stay in the country until the new regulations are issued and there's the new way of submitting the waiver. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll do more on the next videos. Thank you.